Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for January 23rd. January 23rd is the 23rd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 342 days remaining until the end of the year. Unless it's a leap year, in which case there are 343 days remaining to the end of the year. Also, and most importantly to me, is the January 23rd is my dad's birthday. Since this video goes out to the whole wide world and my daddy is still alive, I won't say what year he was born or how old he is, but I have been looking forward to saying happy birthday, Dad. I wouldn't be here without you. Today's word is ophthalmologist. Ophthalmologist is a noun and refers to a physician, a doctor who undergoes subspecialty training in medical and surgical eye care. Ophthalmology is a surgical subspecialty within medicine. This word, ophthalmology, comes to us from Greek, words that mean study of the eyes. First known use of the word ophthalmologist was 1834. Ophthalmologist. And with that, Roman Emperor Theodosius I proclaimed his 8-year-old son Honorius co-emperor on January 23rd in the year 393. You think, oh, how cute. But I guess he was serious, because when Theodosius died just 2 years later in 395, Honorius, at the tender age of 10, became ruler of the western half of the empire, with his brother Arcadius ruling the eastern half. Being so young at the time of his ascension, there were certainly plenty of people who wanted his job, and he relied on the guidance and protection of one of his father's generals, Stilicho, who later became Honorius' father-in-law. Stilicho had never been anything but loyal to Honorius, but some worm tongue in the court convinced Honorius that Stilicho was plotting against him, and Honorius had Stilicho and all his allies tortured and executed, and even banished his wife, since she was Stilicho's daughter. Mercy, what a mess. Suffice to say that Honorius' reign was precarious and chaotic, although he did rule until his death in 395 when he was 38. This is the birthday of pharmacologist Gertrude Bell Elion, born January 23, 1918. Nicknamed Trudy, she was a bright girl who loved every subject in school. Gertrude was a teenager when her beloved grandfather died of stomach cancer. This heartbreaking event influenced her to study science in hopes of fighting this disease. She majored in chemistry in college and graduated with a chemistry degree in 1937. She met a man and they became engaged to be married, but before that could happen, he died of bacterial endocarditis, which strengthened her desire to become a research scientist and pharmacologist. Eventually, she got on with a pharmaceutical company where she developed drugs to treat leukemia, malaria, herpes, and AIDS. Trudy won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1988. Gertrude B. Elion passed in 1999 at the age of 91. Now, we've talked about America's Lend-Lease program before. The famous aviator Charles Lindbergh disagreed with this policy and also felt strongly that the U.S. should negotiate a neutrality pact with Hitler. He testified before Congress to this end on January 23, 1941. Even if anyone else had thought this was a good idea and successfully completed such a negotiation, history has shown that Hitler was not a good and faithful business partner. Lindbergh's insistence in these matters, though, dimmed his popularity for a good many years. The 24th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified on January 23, 1964. This is the one that prohibits what's called a poll tax for any federal election. It would be a couple more years, though, before poll taxes were outlawed for all elections. Today's song is Physical by Olivia Newton-John. This was written by Steve Kipper and Terry Shattuck, who initially intended to offer it to Rod Stewart. It was also offered to Tina Turner. She declined, though, so Ms. Newton-John got it. Recorded in 1981 and released in September of that year, It was a smash hit, even though the suggestive lyrics got the song banned in some markets. Even so, Physical became Miss Newton-John's biggest hit. We find it today beginning its final week of a 10-week run at the #1 spot in the Billboard Hot 100. Physical by Olivia Newton-John, #1, January 23rd, 1982. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that is called, no really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. January 2nd. The 16th. It's all written in Roman numerals, so I had to translate it. There's a little birdie on my front porch. Hopefully I got that pronunciation close. I have a crystal, a faceted crystal hanging in my window, and the sun has moved around so that it's sending rainbows into the room, flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty, back to work.